Hey there. So, I want to recap what we have discussed yesterday, which is about the right mindset before entering into our entrepreneurship journey. The right entrepreneurship mindset or the right entrepreneur mindset basically means the ability to take responsible action. So we also spoke about the four building block of having the right mindset. So first was really about understanding the why. Why is entering into this journey important to you? What do you want to get out of that? And also, really, how would having a entrepreneurship or having your own business help you to feel fulfilled? So we spoke about it, and second point was really about having the mission, being open to really embrace the market environment, the customers needs, even finding their own mentors, and really understanding your environment to serve. How would you be able to better serve that environment? So being open to that. And third point was about having the courage to take action even though we're all faced with fear. Courage literally means act in spite of our fear. So, and then the fourth point was really about focusing on being responsible for the result. So you are the owner, you're no longer the employee who work on certain hours, and at the end of the day, whatever the result, you get paid. No, your actions and result to the whatever the result. So you need to be responsible for the action and the result. Now, so today I wanted to spend more time with you focusing on speaking on courage. I felt that this is a point where it's very, very important for us to establish a process on helping people to understand how to grow their courage. Now, first of all, let me define what courage means. Courage means the ability to act in spite of fear. Now, I would relate courage as the opposite of fear. Most of the time, our fear is triggered from our past experience, all right, and from our past, I would say, our past teaching or growing or teaching. All right. So in order to also understand how to grow how to grow our courage to act, basically we need to first address the fact that there is a fear factor behind it. Now, it's very the 5 step out of the 5 step of building up courage that I am sharing with you today. The fundamental step is to make sure we acknowledge fear. All right. It's very important for us to have the ability to say the reason why I'm not able to take action is because I fear of what. Now, most of the time, fear is down to a couple of reasons, right? There can be 3 or 4. So fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of emotionally uncomfortable. So I would define fear as a feeling of uneasy, all right? Uneasy because we worry about our rejection, about failure, about the unknown, and also about the emotional uncomfort. So, in order to really address this fear, we need to dive deeper into ourselves to understand what has contributed to that fear. Was it because of the previous experience that we have been through ourselves that lead us to having that fear building up so that whenever we want to take certain action, we were held back by that fear? Or it could be the way we were brought up, our environment, our condition has programmed us in a way that we shouldn't do this because otherwise it's related to the consequences of negative consequence. So it's very important to spend time to understand what is the kind of fear that is stopping you and how did that happen. By acknowledging that, by understanding it, by diving deep into that, it will help you to really address most of the time the fear that you are going through has nothing to do with the decision itself. It has a lot to do with the previous programming or the past experience that you have. So try to understand that before you take any action. right? Second point of having that building up courage is about acknowledging the probability. Now, after knowing what contributed to the fear, that it would be very practical for us to also understand what is the likelihood of that fear happens, right? Probability basically refers to the possibility of something happens, whether something will happen positively or something will happen negatively. What is the probability of this fear will happen? All right, what is the probability that that negative consequence that we fear about would happen? It's very important for us to evaluate this. Now, if we say the probability is very high because of X, Y, and Z, then we even kneel down to the next level of the onion, which is understanding what X, Y, and Z means, right? So, say for example, we fear of, let's just say swimming, a basic principle. We are afraid of going to swim in the sea because in the past we were drowned, right? So now that past experience have haunted us that we no longer feel comfortable diving into the sea. Yeah. So our fear in that case is fear. It's really the emotion, right? It's really that the danger that we felt. So now that we understood that, we want to dive deeper into the probability. Now, in order to understand what is the probability that we will be drowned during that swimming in the sea. Now, say for example, it's very high if someone doesn't know how to swim. It's very high if the wave is too strong and we cannot handle it and we're not used to it. It could be also very high if we have never been to the sea after that last incident, so we are not used to that environment. Or it could be also very high because we simply have too high emotion that we're not confident. All right. Now, on the other hand, it could be probability. It could be low probability in the sense where I've been swimming for the past 5 or 10 years in the pool. Now it's my first time going to the sea. So it could be a probability that I will struggle at the beginning, but I have the skill, and if I have that courage, I might be able to go through it. So that's the higher probability. Second probability could be, I have all the tools around, the safety tools around me, so I will not drown. So then you have a lower probability of drowning already. So evaluate the probability is very, very important to really put a rational thinking around it, so that before we say no to anything, rationalize it. Is that going to happen? Or actually with whatever that's available, the risk of negative situation happens is much lower. So evaluate that clearly. Next thing is envision the outcome. All right, very important for us to envision the actions that we can take as well as the outcome that we desire. Now, in this case, when we spoke about the swimming in the seas experience, how would swimming in the seas, being able to swim in the seas, make you feel? All right, what kind of outcome do you want to achieve? Now, it could be that you say, I am ready to face my fear and I want to overcome this fear. So how the ideal outcome could be that you will enjoy the fact that you will feel overcoming your own fear. Or you can say, I'm not ready to handle that. So by visualizing, by not going into the sea, basically it means that it will continue to haunt me and I'm not ready. So you need to visualize the kind of actions that you can take at the same time on the desired outcome that you can imagine, both in positive way and negative way, right? So that you have a clear picture and consciously choosing them. So here it's about positive outcome and negative outcome. Connect to the emotion. Now this is a very important point of building up courage, because courage is a sense of emotion as well. Now it's very important for us to understand when we visualize the outcome, when we visualize the action, we need to understand how does this action, positive action or negative action, help us feel. So when that is clear, how does it make you feel? By being able to swim in the sea, it helps me to feel proud, courage, and strong, because I'm no longer held back by my own fear that's in my head, and I will be able to to now swim anywhere I want, whenever I want in the sea. So how does it make you feel? It make you feel safe, it make you feel strong, it make you feel good. Whatever the emotion, it's very important for us to connect and experience that, so that you understand the possibility of this action and how does it make you feel, and connect to the fact that this is all related to the emotion of fear. And last but not least, if you make a decision to go through it, right? Visualize what kind of reward will you give yourself. Not on the result, but on the action. All right? The reward that you give to yourself because you took the courage to just go dive into the sea and swim, versus the result that you give to yourself when you are not doing that. So this reward is very important because every one of us thrive on recognitions and acknowledgement. So if you make a decision that this is something that you want to overcome, reward yourself focusing on the action but not the result, not necessarily the outcome. All right? The outcome can be less than your expectation, but it's still a positive outcome, right? So it's very important for you to acknowledge that you made the commitment to yourself and you take action. So when you visualize that, and if all that comes together, encourages you to build up your courage and helps you to then take action, then you have become a courageous person, someone who has the courage to take action. So it's very important that you go through this process and help you to build up the courage in everything that you do in life and to be able to be successful. All right? So I hope this is helpful. I want to sum it up. So when we speak about fear, it's about the ability to act in spite of fear. Sorry, when we speak about courage, it's about the ability to act in spite of fear. Courage is the opposite side of fear. Now, in order to build up the courage, there's really just 5 steps. Actually, there's a 6th step. The 6th step is really to take action, right? So first step is acknowledging what is the fear that is holding you back. All right, dive deep into that. And second step is about acknowledging the probability of that happening. So also understand that both in positive light and negative light. Third is visualize the possible action and possible outcome. All right, so what would that be, and how would this positive outcome or negative outcome make you feel? Okay, last but not least, what could be the reward you give to yourself if you take action? All right, so focus on this, and then of course the last one is about act. Okay, so when you focus on having a clear reward system to yourself and then act on it, of course, you keep in mind you need to reward yourself, yeah? So then you will be able to build up your courage gradually and help you to be able to take actions despite of your fear. So hope this is helpful, and give me a thumbs up if you like this. I'd love to hear from you. Bye!